Chapter 36 Bindu speaks 26 years ago. I'm sorry again, Virji, I said. I counted in my head. This was my 20th apology. The first 8 times I received hard slaps in response. After that, Virji didn't care. Virji paced around the jute charpai in the veranda. The winter sun hit our faces, making us scrunch our eyes. Neelam Bhabi sat on the charpai with me, clutching my hand. Geetu, my elder sister, leaned against the wall. 7 months? You have carried his child for 7 months? And nobody in this house knows? Neelam? Virji said. Neelam looked up at her husband, unable to answer. She had no clue. I had worn thick sweaters and wrapped a shawl around myself ever since I began to show. Geetu? Ramesh said. I could never imagine such a thing, Virji. She is 16, Geetu said. Geetu could have known. I had tried to tell her. However, between a bad US Indian telephone line and her excitement of coming home for the first time after marriage, she had not taken me seriously. 4 months ago, on an expensive and time ration call with her from Seattle, I told her I had missed my period a few times. I told her about Param too, the love of my life. She had laughed it off and said it was probably nothing. I had not told her about being with Param in an empty classroom at night and doing certain things. Neither could she believe her little sister would do anything like that. I didn't mention it to anyone else either. My mother would have killed me. In any case, Maji had left 2 months ago to be with her aging parents in Haridwar. They had told her their last wish was to go on pilgrimage all around India. I thought of telling Neelam Bhabi, however, she would tell Virji and he would kill Param. Naturally, I avoided it as long as I could. I didn't mind being pregnant. I foolishly saw it as destiny. Just like my sister 1 year ago, I too felt I had found my soulmate. Param would marry me. I would cook for him and raise his child. Param told me, I will resolve everything soon, just don't tell anyone. I didn't. Even when I began to show at 5 months, the shawl kept everyone fooled. Even as Param kept me fooled. I hoped Param's parents would come one day to ask for my hand. Instead, he ran away. I had no way to contact him. However, fool that I was. I waited for him and kept it all concealed until the day Neelam Bhabi noticed my stomach when I took an afternoon nap on the veranda charpai. I broke down and told her everything. She said she had no choice but to tell Virji. I will kill him. Where is Param? Virji said. Oh, Virji, if only I knew I wanted to say. Virji circled the charpai 5 times before he could bring himself to speak again. Did you go to any doctor? I shook my head. Good. Don't go to just any doctor. News will spread like wildfire. Let me find someone we can trust. I nodded. Will you go with Neelam and Geetu and do what I tell you? Of course, Virji. Geetu, don't tell anyone, not even Jogi, Virji said, referring to Geetu's husband. Geetu nodded tensely. Jogi had come down from Seattle with Geetu Didi for 2 months. He had taken a break from driving a taxi there. Right now, he was with his own family in Moga. Virji? I said. Yes. Once again, I'm sorry. Dr. Reshma Aluwalia made me lie down on a bed in a room attached to her cabin. We had come to the Princess of Wales Zinana Hospital at Dhab Khatikan in Amritsar. She applied a cold gel on my stomach and placed a metal probe on it. On a screen in front appeared a hazy black and white image. Geetu Didi and Neelam Bhabi sat on stool next to the bed. The doctor moved the probe around. First time you have come for ultrasound? she said. Eyes still on the screen. I nodded. You should have come every month after the first term. Why didn't you? I didn't answer. I looked at Neelam Bhabi instead. Is everything okay? Neelam Bhabi said. How far is she? You should know that, the doctor said in the scolding, condescending tone that doctors in India often use. She continued to move the probe and speak to us. I can see a lot of development. See this, the head of the baby. I saw a round shape and nodded. She moved the probe again. And you see this? Another head. The doctor said. Neelam Bhabi stood up to have a better look at the screen. She's having a two-headed baby? Neelam Bhabi said. The doctor looked at Neelam Bhabi. Are you uneducated? She's having twins and they are almost ready to come out. My heart sank. I felt the room spin around me. Congratulations, this is double good news, the doctor said, even as I contemplated suicide. What nonsense are you talking? Abortion? Dr. Aluwalia said, looking at Neelam Bhabi like she was a criminal. We were back in the doctor's cabin after the ultrasound. Doctor, my husband Ramesh Malhotra arranged this visit. He has repaired your family car for years, Neelam Bhabi said. So, it is because of that I have not thrown you out. You are talking about abortion at 7.5 months with twins. I was going to tell you to fix a date for the cesarean. We never said abortion as such, doctor, Geetu Didi said. My brother felt we should ask you to just handle the situation. What else does handle the situation mean? How can you people do this? There are two living people in her. Even if I operate today, they will be alive, Reshma said. I broke down. The doctor's harsh words, the disappointment on Virji's face, the humiliation of Neelam Bhabi. It all became too much for me. If I couldn't abort, maybe the doctor could give me something to kill myself with. I explained to Dr. Aluwalia my entire situation and how I couldn't have these children. You should have come earlier, much earlier. We could have terminated the pregnancy. Now I'm sorry, your kids are due, she said. What do we do, doctor? Neelam Bhabi said, bringing her palms together. My brother won't let her in the house, Geetu Didi said. The doctor stood up. She pointed to the exit. You should have thought of all that before. Now leave. Come to me only if you want me to deliver the babies. I understand they are not within a marriage. The maximum I can do is deliver them in secrecy so people don't find out. Please go now. I have another patient. When is Maji coming back? Virji said to Neelam Bhabi at the small dining table of our Amritsar house. They are in Tirupati now and then they proceed to Tamil Nadu before some other places. 2 more months at least, Virji nodded. Geetu Didi, Virji, Neelam Bhabi and I had sat down for dinner. Virji told my 10-year-old brother Adi to watch TV in Virji's room. 1 week after the doctor's visit, we had run out of options. Virji told me to give the newborns to an orphanage. I couldn't sleep for 3 nights after that. Somehow, seeing that ultrasound and the 2 little heads had changed me. I realized I was about to be a mother who was going to throw her babies away to some random orphanage. My twins would be with dozens of abandoned kids, never to be cuddled or loved. I will raise them, I said to Virji at the dining table. Are you stupid? As illegitimate children? And how will you pay for them? I will work day and night. Please don't make me give them to an orphanage, Virji. You have seen how horrible these places are. I will die seeing them go. Then die, he said. Tears rolled down my cheeks. I used to be Virji's favorite growing up. He would save his pocket money to buy me dolls. Now he didn't care about my kids' feeling or life. I turned to his wife. Please, Neelam Bhabi, please let me keep my children. I will become a maid if I have to. Yes, please continue to make the family name shine. Become a maid and raise bastards. Why can't you just go die somewhere? Virji said. Rameshji, please. Neelam Bhabi said. She is a child. Clearly not, Virji said, taking deep breaths to control his anger. Bhaiya, Gitu Didi said, you have always taken care of all of us. This is not you. And what have I got in return? I spent my life covered in grease. And look, Gitu, look. You get to live there in Seattle. I have to deal with all this. She made a mistake, Gitu Didi said. She is ready to take responsibility. Let her raise her children. Have you lost your mind, Gitu? This is not the US. This is Amritsar. What will we tell people? Where did the kids come from? Dinner remained uneaten on the table. Rajma chawal was Virji's favorite. Today he hadn't touched it. He continued to speak. Orphanage is not a bad idea. Whatever is the destiny of these kids, they have to live with it. One of my babies kicked inside my stomach. I thought of my little newborn, alone and scared in some rat and cockroach infested orphanage. The idea seemed worse than me setting myself on fire. I began to cry loudly. I should not have, but I couldn't control it. Stop crying now, Gudia, Virji said. You know I can't see all this. My Virji is hard on the outside, but I know on the inside he is as soft as a ball of butter. There is no one in the world who cares for his family as much as him, even though all I ever do is disappoint him. Gitu Didi and Neelam Bhabi took turns to wipe my tears. It didn't work. Instead, they began to cry as well. Adi peeked outside the bedroom once to see what was happening. Virji gave him a stern look, making him scurry back into the room. Virji spoke after a pause. His tone was serious. There is one way, but it is not easy. What? I said, clinging to any ray of hope. Gitu, you love your sister? Of course, Virji. Bindu is our Gudiya. Neelam, will you do something for my family? Virji said. When have I not? It's my family too. Good. If both of you are ready to make a sacrifice and keep a secret, there is a way. What, Virji? I said, getting impatient. Gitu, you take one child. Call it yours and Jogi's child. Neelam, you take the other and we call it our child. What? Gitu Didi and Neelam Bhabi spoke in unison. Think about it. There's really no other way. It's either that or the orphanage, which nobody seems to want. I can't have Bindu raise two children on her own. Neither will she be able to afford it, nor will it keep the family's honor. Virji stood up and walked to the center of the room, leaving us three women at the dining table. I will have to talk to Jogi, Gitu Didi said. I mean, this is big. I love you, Bindu, but this is so big. I told you it's not easy, Neelam, Virji said. It's not like I have a choice. I always do what you say, Rameshi, Neelam Bhabi said, a tinge of disappointment in her voice. What about Maji? Do we tell her? Gitu Didi said, of course not. She should never find out. I can't hurt my mother. Neelam encouraged her to stay with her parents in Haridwar for some more time. Tell her you may be pregnant. When she comes back, she will see the baby, Virji said. And me? Gitu Didi said. You and Jogi leave for the US anyway. Just go after the babies are born, taking one with you. Go there and inform Maji you are pregnant. You won't come to India for another year or two anyway. When you come next time, everyone will see it as your child. Jogi has to agree, Virji, Gitu Didi said. I know, tell him it was my idea. Remind him that I paid half the money of his taxi medallion and married you off to him despite him not having a job at that time. Gitu Didi nodded. Virji came back to the dining table and sat on one of the chairs. Still in tears, I went up to him and hugged him from behind. He picked up a plate in response. I'm hungry. What's for dinner? Is that Rajma Chawal?